Live from London, this is BBC News. At least 100 people are reported to have been killed in a fire at a wedding party in northern Iraq. At least 150 people were also injured. A New York judge finds that Donald Trump repeatedly exaggerated his wealth, sometimes by hundreds of millions of dollars, to banks and insurers. Armenia says it has received over 35,000 refugees from Nagorno-Karabakh, a quarter of the enclave's population. Hello, I'm Tanya Beckett. Investigators in northern Iraq are trying to establish the exact cause of a fire at a wedding party which is reported to have killed more than 100 people. It happened in Al Hamdaniya late on Tuesday evening. This is the scene at the site this morning. Civil defence officials said initial findings suggested fireworks were lit during the celebration inside a hall. It's also being reported the venue was built with highly flammable materials. Another 150 people were injured. Let's cross now live to our correspondent Lena Sinjab, who's following the story for us from Beirut. Lena, what more can you tell us about this horrible tragedy?
Well, it is unbearable to witness this as a day of wedding, a day of celebration, and ended up in dozens, burnt alive because of fireworks. These are initial reports that we're getting from Iraq, from locals, from people who managed to escape for their life after the horrible fire that went through the wedding hall. Basically, people said that there were fireworks started, but also there were inflammable, terribly flammable panels that caused the spread of the fire and parts of the ceiling to fall, causing dozens being killed. Of course, unfortunately, in Iraq, where there's corruption and accountability, these incidents are not a surprise. In the past, there were cases where constructions and safety issues were not followed and causing loss of life. There are investigations now. The government is moving, but this is really a terrible, catastrophic situation in this predominantly Christian town of Hamadaniya in Nineveh, east of Mosul. The rescue operation, went on through the night. We are still waiting to hear a confirmed of deaths and the destiny of the bride and groom.
Lena, thank you very much indeed for updating us there. Well, I'm joined now by Blessa Shawais, who is an Iraqi journalist in the city of Erbil, where some of the injured are being treated. Welcome to the programme. What more can you tell us?
Okay, good morning. First of all, what happened yesterday night, it happened at exactly 10:30 at night. And the cause of fire was from the fireworks during a celebration of wedding. However, the build was not safe for the fire. There was not any measures for safety inside the building, and this is the main reason behind that is the corruption in Iraq. As we know, the town of Hamdani is under the control of Iranian-backed PMU militia, which is sanctioned by United States even because of the links with the Iranian IRGC. However, the wedding hall is owned by this militia, and those militia groups, when they are taking the permission to build a hall like that, they are not taking exact permission. The permission is not going through the measures through the same things that other buildings are going through. However, it caused the kill of 114 people, and still now more than 150 are injured. The situation is catastrophic. The hospital in Mosul, in Hamdaniya, cannot get all these injured or all these wounded people. However, they necessarily went to other cities. They transferred so many of them to other cities like Kirkuk, Erbil, and some of them to Tikrit. Why? Because the infrastructure of Mosul have not rebuilt after the war of ISIS. And the main reason behind that also is the corruption. In the city of Erbil, there's a about more than 35 injured. Some of them that are seriously injured during what happened yesterday night. However, we can expect the rise of numbers of the kills. We can expect everything because till now, some of the rescue teams, they are trying to find the body of some people because of the fire.
Sure.
They couldn't find some of them.
Understood. You've alluded to poor building standards, and you've put that down to corruption. Is it also usual practice to let off fireworks inside a building, or are there fireworks that are designed for indoors and for this purpose?
Okay, we have an experience exactly in the city of Mosul. It was during a Nowruz celebration several years ago, while the ferry sank, and the same ferry was owned by a militia group, the militia which is Iranian-backed militia inside the Mosul. At that time, I remember I covered this news personally. More than 200 people, they were killed, and some of them till now the bodies is not. They couldn't find the body of them because of the sank ferry. However, it's a kind of practice in Iraq. The corruption is the biggest problem in this state. While every government, when it's coming, they are going to promise the people that they are going to solve this problem. However, it's going to be bigger and bigger day after day and year after year and government after government. That's why I think that corruption is the main problem.
Root cause.
I want to mention one thing also. There's a lack of the medical equipment. There's a lack of everything inside the Mosul. They necessarily did that with the other cities, exactly Erbil. However, Erbil couldn't do that also. Why? Because there's a strike by the medical staff in Erbil because of the lack of because that KRG, the Kurdistan Region government, didn't pay the salary for several months for the medical staff.
So a lack of medical care and poor building standards. Thank you so much. Sorry, there we will have to leave it, but thank you for joining us. Bless Shawais there, who joined us from Erbil on that fire at a wedding in Iraq. A New York court ruled that Donald Trump committed fraud by repeatedly overstating the value of his business assets. The judge said the former president exaggerated his wealth, sometimes by billions of dollars, to get cheaper loans and insurance. He cancelled some of the licenses which allow Mr. Trump...
Yeah, exactly. So one crucial thing